Which one of the three Mass Effect games is my favorite? As a huge Mass Effect fan, this is a question that I have asked myself many times, and I barely have an answer, but I think I will try to get you one by the end of this video. Please don't use this as a I can only buy one of these games, so which one should I buy guide, because you should not buy Mass Effect 2 or 3 without playing 1. You have to play the Mass Effect games in order to get the full experience, trust me. This video is just about personal preference for those of you who are curious as to which one I enjoyed the most. However, please do not use this as a buying guide. Play Mass Effect 1, then 2, then 3, in that order. Thank you. Mass Effect 1 started out the amazing series, and of course it had some tweaks to the gameplay that were much needed. The story was actually really good in Mass Effect 1, and it had a lot of plot exposition and character development, which of course was very much so needed in the first game to get you grabbed into the story and for you to understand everything that's going on. Mass Effect 1 probably has the most gripping storyline going on, however the gameplay is by far the most lacking. With Mass Effect 2, we have quite a few improvements to the gameplay to where sometimes it didn't even feel like the same game at certain times. The plot actually goes a lot slower in Mass Effect 2, and while I probably spent more time playing Mass Effect 2 than any of the three Mass Effect games, very little happens in terms of the plot. I do realize that Mass Effect 2's storyline is completely vital to the trilogy because it has to do with everything involving Cerberus, setting things up for Mass Effect 3, but still, in terms of the main thing, the Reapers and all of that fun stuff, Mass Effect 2 had probably less plot exposition than any three of the other games. What Mass Effect 2 did shine in was character development. It gives you the options to do loyalty missions where you can really decide which characters are your favorites and which you care the most about. Because a big thing in Mass Effect has been socializing, and you get to meet your squad mates, learn about them, and you get to really decide which ones are your favorites. By Mass Effect 2, you have quite a few squad mates, and you have definitely a few favorites out there. Personally, all I need is some Rex and Liara, and I am good to save the galaxy. But I know a lot of people are different than me. A lot of people may prefer them some Miranda, Tali, Garrus, or whatever they prefer. And that's the cool thing about Mass Effect and its choices, that I don't think that necessarily they impact the world around you, but they can impact your squad mates and all that. And I always thought that was really cool, especially in Mass Effect 2. Then we get into Mass Effect 3, which has the most improved gameplay in my opinion, which is awesome. You know, I wish this is the kind of gameplay that we had from the get-go. But unfortunately it was not. By Mass Effect 3, we see everything in the world crumbling. All of the decisions you've made throughout the first two games are really starting to shine here. You'll notice a little things different in the galaxy because of you, and it really gives you that kind of powerful feeling that we've been looking for since Mass Effect 1. Certain squad mates may or may not be around because of your actions. Certain species may or may not be around because of your actions. And overall, you really get the feeling like the universe is really ending in Mass Effect 3. You really feel like the war between the Reapers and humanity and everyone else in the entire galaxy is really impacting, and it's really becoming a crippling thing on society. You legitimately feel like the world and everything you know is ending, because it is. And it takes a lot for a game to really make you feel like that. The ending, of course, has the obvious controversy stirred around it, saying that our choices didn't matter enough, but personally, I was one of the people that didn't really go looking to put everyone on BioWare's head on a pitchfork. I didn't think it was awful, but it could have been a lot better. Extended Cut fixed it a little bit and gave us some slight closure. I'm still not positive if it was the perfect ending that I was looking for to my favorite gaming series of all time, but it was still pretty decent. I don't think that they ever could have given me an ending that I would have been 100% completely satisfied with. But all around, the story to Mass Effect 3 was pretty average. You see a lot of things coming to an end, and there isn't a whole lot of plot exposition, of course. We have a lot of the plot exposed now, and we're just seeing everything come to a conclusion. But if I had to pick my favorite game out of all three of these, I think I would have to say Mass Effect 2. It's just a perfect balance between 1 and 3, I think. It had an interesting enough story going on, and it also had good enough gameplay for me to get into it. Mass Effect 2 is my favorite Mass Effect game, and it's also one of my favorite games of all time. It compelled me in a way that very few games can, and that is something that is worth noting. Mass Effect 2 is an amazing game, and so is the entire trilogy. But this is all just my opinion. I can completely understand why someone would say that Mass Effect 1 is their favorite, and I can completely understand why someone would say Mass Effect 3 is their favorite. It's just that I felt Mass Effect 2 was a pretty good balance between all three of them, and I thought it was overall the most enjoyable game. That is it for this video, and for now I would like to thank you all for watching. Hope you have a nice day, and goodbye!